Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curiosity Rocks, and in this video I am going to review Spider-Man Far From Home. Now this video is my spoiler review, so if you don't want to know any spoilers, then I also have a no spoiler review, which is obviously a lot shorter than this one. So if you don't want to see spoilers, click off this video and go and watch my no spoilers review. So if you do want to hear spoilers and know what happens in the movie, then stay right here. And also, once you've seen the movie, you can have a chat about it in the comments section. So I saw Spider-Man Far From Home on the 2nd of July 2019, which was the first day it was out at the pictures. And oh man, it was the total mind F. So I say this was really cool. It's a movie of two halves essentially. So let's describe the first half. So when the movie starts and you get the Marvel logo, it's to the tune of I Will Always Love You, but it's sung by Whitney Houston, and it's like, okay. And there's pictures of Black Widow, Iron Man and Captain America, and it's playing I Will Always Love You over the pictures of them. And then we find out it's the kids who do the news at Peters High School, and they made this video for the Avengers who rescued them because they were snapped away. So we saw a recap of their high school when the snap happened, and you see some of the students dusting away, and then about a second later you see they return, but they're in the gym and on the bleachers, and there's a marching band for the sports team, and when they come back they fall on top of the new marching band, because obviously it's 5 years later and they've got a new marching band. So what the kids who were dusted are dealing with is that some of their classmates, last time they saw them they were little kiddies, and then they've shot up, and there's a particular student they're talking about, and Peter's talking to Ned saying he was only a little kid and now he's up here and ripped, and they just can't, and they're amazed at this little kid. So I think they must have mixed up the years for the younger kids who have grown up and the ones who have come back, and they've mixed them up, and the teachers made the snapped kids repeat a year of school. So the teachers have sort of sorted it out that way. And since the snap, the teachers, well, we only see a couple of the teachers really. We only see I think he's the one who took him to Washington in Homecoming. We see him, and we see the other teacher who thinks the science teacher, and they're totally overcompensating. It's like, oh, you're right kids, oh, you're right, I've planned everything out. And it's basically the two teachers to take them on the European trip overseas. It's like, I recently played Dream Daddy, and I loved it. It's an app game on the App Store. I'm sure you know about it. I'm sure I don't need to explain everything, but it was so cute. I totally shipped them. But before that, we also see Aunt May, and she set up this charity because for the people who were made homeless by the snap, because when they came back either they were renting houses and somebody else was renting it, or or maybe their partner set up home with somebody new, and it's like awkward, which is what I think happened to one of the teachers. And she set up this charity to help rehome all these misplaced people. So she's doing a speech, and then Peter's helping out by appearing as Spider-Man, but it's like, hi, I'm Spider-Man, and he was like really stiff about it, because he's still well, not really getting over Tony. So, and then they go backstage and Happy comes in. I really like that we got to see more of Happy in this movie, and he felt really fun, like a fun uncle, and he was getting involved with the kids and stuff, and he was like really fun. So I related a lot more to Happy this time, as in, and not related I know how he felt, related as in he's like got to know him a bit better, because that to remind the long time Marvel fans that I'm a pretty new fan. I only joined the fandom in 2018, so I don't really know all the dynamics, but I've watched a lot of the movies. So Happy comes on, and they've left there's a big check that they've raised money, and they got a big check, and Happy comes in and says, you've left this at the office, don't know, it's a really big check, and he gives it to Aunt May, and then there's a bit of a spark between Aunt May and Happy, and Peter's like, and Peter's getting ready for to go to Europe on the trip, and these two teachers are looking after all the kids, and they're getting them on the airplane, and Peter's got this whole multiple step plan of how he's going to charm MJ. So he's going to try and sit next to her, and then he wants to get her a necklace. He wants to get her Black Dahlia glass necklace, Venetian glass, because she's like all into this emo stuff, and because they're interested in the Black Dahlia murders. So he wants to get this necklace from Venice, and he's going over his plan in the art classroom with Ned, and Ned's saying, don't do this, because Ned wants to just be single bachelors in Europe so they can pull a European girl. And in the art room, we see on the wall, there's all the pictures the kids have done of Iron Man all hung up on the wall, and I thought that was really sweet. And in this movie, there's like Iron Man murals everywhere in all different countries, so I thought that was really fun to spot them all. And so he's got this plan to get MJ, but Ned really wants him and Peter to just be single bachelors in Europe. So then it's time to get on the plane, and one of the kids, I don't remember all the kids' names, but one of the kids is he makes lots of YouTube videos and he's vlogging a lot. But this Ben, who used to be just a little scrawny kid, he's competition now for MJ, because now he's grown up a bit. He really likes MJ, so Peter's got a bit of a competition to get MJ. So they get on the plane, and Ned's all, we're going to be bachelors, and then he tries to get Peter like a seat next to MJ, and because they're not sitting next to him, and he says, there's a lady in front and she's wearing too much perfume and Peter's allergic. Ned says, oh, there's a woman in front of Peter and she's wearing loads of perfume and Peter's allergic, and he makes up this lie about Peter being allergic to perfume. And then the teacher, hears him talking about this, and the teacher's like, oh, no, we can't have that. Oh, Peter, I gotta look after you. And he's so stressed out at looking after the kids now. So the teacher rearranges all the kids, and Ben ends up next to MJ instead of Peter. And then Ned ends up next to the blonde girl who does the high school news report. And he's like, I like video games. Do you like video games? He's like, and they're like, no. But eventually, as they're on the plane, they sort of make friends, and then there's a bit of turbulence on the plane, and he grabs her hand, and then when they've arrived in Europe, we find out that they've actually bonded and realised they've got a lot in common, and are now boyfriend and girlfriend. So that was quite funny. So they get to the hotel in Venice, and the teacher is like, book this hotel. But this hotel, Venice is, it's flooded a bit. And the other teacher says, why didn't you check the website? And, oh yeah, that was about the museum. So they go to this hotel, and it's a bit of a dive. But they get all the kids settled and everything. And so Peter goes off to go to this shop so he can get a necklace for MJ. And he's got his necklace in his little bag. And Ned and his new girlfriend are on one of the gondolas riding along, and everybody's doing activities. And then they see this water starts bubbling up under the canal in Venice, and it's like, and it's coming from like going through under the drains and coming out on the canal bit, and then this big water monster explodes out of the canal, and he's a big water monster, and it's all about this thing where people have seen. And before that, we saw Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and they were in Mexico because there was this tornado, big windstorm, and they was investigating. And Maria Hill said, "Why are we here? It's a bad disaster." But what? And then Nick Fury says, "Well, people said they saw a face in the wind." And it's like, what? So that's the premise. So in Venice, there's a big water monster, and it looked, I went in to see the movie in 3D and looked really cool, and it was floating, and the water was right at our eye level, so that was awesome. And there's a big water, and then Mysterio, he's not, well, Ned christens him Mysterio, and he comes in with his green powder like effects, and he gets this water monster and defeats him, and they were like, "Whoa, who was that? And on the news report later it says the news talks about him as Mysterio. And Spider-Man, he didn't have his spider suit with him, he left it at the hotel, but he could still do all the jumps in his casual clothes, so that looked really cool. And he helped to stop the tower from falling. So, and as getting knocked out by the bell, he said, "Clunk, clunk." He kept clunking his head on the bell, but he helped to stop this tower falling down. And then he gets obviously meets up with Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and they talk about, and he meets Mysterio, and Mysterio says, "Well, we don't know what they are, but we call them elementals," and said they destroyed my world. And Peter's all like, and then he says, "When Thanos did the snap, it made all the multiverse. This is Earth, what, number this, and I'm from Earth, and Peter's all like, wait, what? There's a multiverse? And then there's a big explanation of Mysterio and what Peter's job is, but Peter doesn't want to do it. He wants to go and ask out MJ and have a really cool vacation with his friends. So Nick says, well, if you don't want to do it, and then Peter says, not doing it, and he walks off. And then they going to go to the next location on this European holiday. Oh yeah, before the water monster jumped out, the teacher was going to take him a museum, and he arrived at the museum and it was closed. It was closed for a fortnight or something, and the other teacher said, well, why don't you check the website? And the teacher says, oh, that's a good idea. The teachers are so cute, I totally ship them. They're so cute. And when the big water monster happened, the science teachers are saying, oh, well, I'm a man of science, I'm going to say, it's witches. And he's like, it's witches doing all this stuff. And he was really funny. And so all the kids and the teacher's like, whoa, really overprotective now. And he's like, are you alright, kids? Are you alright? Oh, do you need any psychological counselling? And then, so Nick Fury catches up with a Spider-Man, and he fires a tranquilizer dart at Ned, and has a discussion with him. And then the teacher comes and knocks on the door, says, oh, you're right, are you right, kids? Do you need anyone to talk to? And he sees Ned asleep on the floor, says, oh, well, he's passed out, night, kids. And then Ned's girlfriend knocks on the door, asks if Ned's there, and Pete asks if he's already asleep. Then one of the other kids says hello, and Nick Fury's hiding behind the door, he said, and he's getting really pissed off at all the interruptions. So he's trying to get Peter to step up and be the superhero he is, but Peter, he just wants his holiday with MJ. And it was really fun because they played lots of different European music of them all going on this holiday and vacationing. So the idea is that they were going to, the teachers set up, right, we're going to Paris next, but they have to go to Prague because that's where this fire creature, because they're all elementals, this fire creature's going to turn up in Prague. And so what happens, Peter gets given this glasses case, and he opens it, and it's a present from Tony, and the like gadgety glasses what he can do loads of stuff on, and the computer's called Edith, and the note says, from Tony, for the next Iron Man, I trust you, from Tony. And he puts these glasses on, and but then Ben, he sees Ben, oh yeah, before that bit, that's where that happens, before that bit, they are a rest stop, and there's Peter goes into this bathroom area, and there's a blonde woman, and she's been sent to deliver his suit to him, and she says, take your clothes off, I've got your suit, and he's got a new spy suit kind of thing, and he's just pulled his trousers down to put this new suit on, and Ben is going in, so because he thinks it's a bathroom, and he sees Peter, with his trousers down next to this tall blonde woman, and he takes a picture. So Ben's got this picture from the bus stop, and Peter's got these glasses from Tony Stark on, and Ben's just about to send this picture to MJ, and Peter says, oh no, and he's trying to get Edith to stop Ben sending this text, but because the other kids are talking to him, Peter's also talking to Edith, he accidentally sets a missile target onto Ben. So they have to avoid that, and then the glasses keep getting knocked off Peter's face, so he has to try and stop it. And so eventually he does stop the missile, and then because Nick Fury also has this assistant called Dimitri, and basically instead of going to Paris, he turns up with the school bus, and he ends up driving him to Prague, because he's like, and then so Peter's really pretty pissed that Nick Fury's basically hijacked his holiday, but then he works with Mysterio when he really bonds with Peter, and it's really sweet. And they're sat talking, and he's talking about that he wants to ask out MJ, and Mysterio's being like a uncle figure. Mysterio's real name is Quentin Beck, but he's like being a really cute uncle for Peter. And so then they fight the big flame monster, and Mysterio and Ned, so the kids were all going to go to the big carnival in the town, but Nick Fury is set it up so the teachers got tickets to the opera, and his teacher's really excited to take all the kids to a 4-hour opera, because Peter's told Nick Fury, please make sure my friends are safe. So they've been forced to go to the opera, but Ned, MJ sees Peter like sneaking out, so she goes to follow him, and Ned sees MJ going to follow Peter, says, and so they sneak out too, and Ned and his girlfriend go on the Ferris wheel, and we see all the carnival, and it looks really cool, and MJ goes to look around the carnival, and then the pavement starts flaming like lava, and then this big flame monster bursts out of the ground, and Mysterio's trying to defeat the flame monster, and Peter's trying to save Ned and his girlfriend, and then Mysterio says, what are you going to do? Mysterio says, what I should always have done, and he does this big power thing with his green stuff, and it looks like it's completely knocked him out, but when Peter, after he's saved Ned and his girlfriend, when Peter goes towards him, he realises Mysterio is fine. So then they go to this pub, and Peter's talking about the glasses that Tony gave him, and he's looking at this note and said, but I can't wear these glasses, I can't be Iron Man, I'm a 16-year-old kid. And earlier on, there was the bit with Nick Fury, and Peter's saying, and then anybody else you could get Thor, and Nick says, off-world, and then he says, Doctor Strange, unavailable, and then Peter says, Captain Marvel, and Nick says, don't invoke her name, and that is a little clue for later. So, and then, so there's nobody else but Peter, and he says, but I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And Nick Fury says, bitch, please, you've been to space. And that was real cool. So anyway, he's beat the flame monster with Mysterio, so now they're going for it. He's taking for a drink in the bar. So Peter's having an orange juice, and so Mysterio is having some alcohol or something, I forget what, but Peter's stressing out at him, saying, I can't be the next Iron Man. Tony didn't mean me. Oh, I know what Tony meant. He meant I have to pick somebody to be Iron Man. And he's like, he's taking the Edith glasses off, said, yeah, you try him on. And he says, you have to give, and he said, it looked good. And then Peter says, I have to assign the glasses to a new person. And then Mysterio has to give him permission for the glasses. And then he's like, okay. And then Peter runs off to go and catch up with his friends and MJ. And then, head F, shit goes down. We see Mysterio sat there with these glasses on, and then everything, like this blue computer glitch effect, starts happening all around the bar, and things start disappearing. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then all this stuff disappearing, and there's a group of people, and Quentin Beck as Mysterio, and his outfit changes, and he's like, hey, we did it, guys. And it's, oh my god, he's a bad guy, and he's Quentin Beck, and he's got these other people, and they all worked for Tony Stark, except when they worked for Tony Stark, they didn't get any credit, because Tony Stark was the face of everything, and it was Stark stuff, and it was Tony Stark the hero, and all these people are in the background doing everything. And basically this film is like, the first part is your basic superhero movie, and the second part is the people behind constructing your basic superhero movie, and it's about all the behind the scenes stuff and how important absolutely everybody is at creating something, and how frustrating it can be to have one figurehead that just gets all the praise and all the publicity, and it is like, and doesn't graciously give praise to the people who helped him. So we see that Quentin Beck was the guy who he basically invented the BARF program, and Tony Stark made the acronym BARF, and all the kids laughed, and Quentin Beck's behind the scenes saying, what, you call my invention BARF? And Tony Stark basically took the complete piss out of this guy. This guy worked really hard on this science for Tony, and Tony just completely humiliated him. And then we see that the other people he's gathered, they were also working for Tony and working for Stark Industries, and they were shouted at and they were treated like shit. So they've all got together, led by Quentin Beck, to be heroes. Like, why can't they be heroes too? So he's got this outfit designed. He's got an actual Mysterio outfit, and he's got a virtual one. So he's got this guy who, by using loads of drones with holographic camera projectors, he can make these monsters appear, and then Quentin as Mysterio, could come in and be the hero and save everybody, and he gets the praise then, which is kind of ironic because he's doing exactly what Tony Stark did, because all the people behind the illusion, they're not getting praised, but Quentin is. So it's kind of ironic that he's not actually praising the people, because he's got this guy who does this really cool editing, and he edits all these drones so it makes these illusions, and he's obviously not going to reveal that it's all an illusion, so he can't credit him. So Quentin Beck's still only out for himself. He's not actually helping these other people, because so you've got the person who there's a woman who arranges his costume, and she irons the cape and makes sure his costume looks cool, and all these different people have all these different tasks, but it's still basically for worshipping Quentin Beck. So he hasn't really learned much from Tony Stark. He's learned the bad way of, he wants to have the publicity and the praise and the admiration, but he's shitting on the people below who are helping him. So he's still not giving them praise. But he calls their group, because of the news report and stuff, he calls their group Mysterio. So they're this group behind the scenes, and they're making illusions. So the second half of the movie is amazing. It's like when they did Spider-Verse, it's like they're using some of that style and putting it into live action Spider-Man, which is, I think, is a brilliant step forward, because it's so visually stimulating. I just love stuff like that. So it's really heartbreaking for Peter, though. He gets put through a huge amount in this movie. It's really disturbing. So through these illusions, Mysterio targets Peter, and Peter gets caught up in this massive illusion, and the imagery is amazing. There's a bit where a big hand comes in and grabs Spider-Man, and he's like grabbing an action figure, and it looks really cool. And then there's loads of Spider-Mans, and he's fighting loads of other Spider-Mans. And then Mysterio, Quentin Beck, is trying to make Peter feel really guilty about Tony Stark. So what he does, he puts Tony Stark's gravestone in front of Peter, and then this is the scene that I think is a bit scary for younger kids. As the Iron Man costume rises up from the grave, and half of it is the Iron Man costume, and the other half is inside the costume, and it's Tony's skull. It's Tony's skull after it's been rotting for a little bit, and it's got bugs and worms eating at his skull, and it just comes towards the screen and just keeps coming towards the screen. That was like, whoa, that was not nice. That was pretty scary and pretty disturbing. So this film isn't the most complimentary about Tony Stark. So if you feel passionate and love Tony Stark and he's your hero, I don't know how you'll receive this film. But he's trying to guilt trip Peter, and then Peter's trying to protect all his classmates, and part of the illusion is that the class was going to go to Paris as part of the school trip. So Mysterio made it so it was like with MJ and the Eiffel Tower, and then MJ ends up falling off the Eiffel Tower, and Peter jumps off after her, and then he ends up outside of the building on the floor, and then we see Nick Fury's there, and he's got him, and Peter's safe, But then we find out that Nick Fury was an illusion too, and he hadn't really got him. And then, but eventually Peter, he finds himself in this field of flowers, and he wakes up and he's in this Neverland prison with these 3 prisoners. Now I don't know if this particularly accurate portrayal of the Netherlands, but they're in the Netherlands and he's in prison with these 3 guys, and they're really polite and sweet, and the copper who's like meant to be keeping him in prison is really polite and sweet. And Peter's like, well, you guys are really nice. And then Peter uses his strength to unlock the prison door and escape. And then the prisoner behind him is like, he sees the doors open and pulls it and back and locks it again. So he locks the prisoners don't try to escape or anything. So Peter ends up in this town market square in the Netherlands, and I was like really suspicious at this point, because it was all about not believing what you see and how people put a cape on a superhero and they're totally out belief. Is a lot of it is about I guess fake news and stuff. So Peter goes to this market and he rings Happy and he has to tell him where he is, but Peter can't actually pronounce it, so he gives the phone to this market store guy and he tells him where he is. Then Peter goes to this field of tulip fields with all different colours of tulips, and then Happy's come over with one of their special planes, and he's got Peter on board, and Peter's like, oh yeah, before that Mysterio made a train come and run Peter over. That was scary. And then it's like it's really visceral, and after that he gets into the present. So when he sees Happy on the plane, he's like, Peter's just so upset, and Happy's and trying to cheer him up, and said, well, not cheer him up, is saying that I miss Tony too, you know, but Tony believed in you. And then and Peter's like, eventually he says he's going to fight for Tony, and then Happy presses a button and he opens the back of the ship, and that's where he can design a new spider suit. So he puts his arm, and Peter's starting doing this with the holograms, and Happy's like, and he's like, Peter's like doing baby Tony, doing all the gadgets, saying twist this, do this, and then Happy puts on some music. It's like, you do the suit, I'll do the music, and they're so sweet. And it's like how's the suit coming on, and the suit, we see it being stitched together, and then yeah, before that Happy's saying, well, what are we going to do, because we sat in the tulip field for half an hour. And then Peter has like the plan, and he says, this is the plan. So they they go to London. The kids have gone to London with their teacher. The teacher's surprisingly pretty lax about Peter Parker disappearing all the time. So they're in London, and they've got a posh hotel, because Happy's like me, so they got a posh hotel this time. And then so they're in this hotel, oh yeah, MJ's discovered that she's already figured out that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, but he wants to chat to her outside first. So he goes to talk to her, and he says, "So and he wants to give her a present, say he loves and stuff, and he's saying and MJ said Spider-Man, and said and he says, "How did you know?" And she's like, "Well, I figured it out." And then they have a conversation, and then Peter, MJ found this holographic camera projector thing from one of the drones that had got dislodged through Peter's sticky web stuff, and she picked it up, and then she's showing it to Peter. "I found this with webs on," and that's proof for knowing Peter's Spider-Man. And he said, "Well," and then she's holding it, and then suddenly it shows the hologram of the big monster. It's like what? Wait, what? So is it not real? And then Peter's going to tell Nick Fury all about how the hologram, all about this plan, but Mysterio tricks him again, and he keeps tricking Spider-Man and making loads of stuff an illusion. And then when he finally defeats Quentin Beck, does he defeat him now? When he finally defeats Quentin Beck, he's like, because Quentin tries to put illusion on him, but then Peter looks at what we think is the real Quentin Beck, and he's surprised because Quentin Beck, I think, gets shot or something. I'm not sure, but not by Peter, but by, I think, Nick Fury, I guess. And then Peter's talking to the Edith, because he's got the glasses back from Quentin Beck, and we see and Quentin says he tricks Peter, and Peter says, Edith says, shall I the plan is to stop the illusions, and Edith says, "Shall I execute the plan? Shall I execute all the turn off switches, basically?" And Peter says, "Yeah, execute them all." And then all the illusions stop, and all the kids are safe and rescued, and then the teachers take them home again. And oh yeah, during the fight with drones, MJ and Ned and his girlfriend and the kid who does YouTube videos and Happy, they run into Tower Bridge into the Tower of London, and they go into hide in the armory, and there's all these, and they pick up different bits of armor, and they fight off the drones, but while they're waiting for the drones and like trying to fight the drones, they have a little bit where they all share, confess stuff, and the kid who makes YouTube videos, I make these videos because my mum and dad aren't interested. His mum and dad just don't want to look after him or anything, which is really sad. And I find out that's why he does his YouTube videos, because he can get praise and likes, which he isn't getting at home. So I thought that was sweet. And then MJ confesses stuff, and Ned and his girlfriend, they just share stuff. And then Happy says, "I'm in love with Spider-Man's aunt." And he says, "Well, I thought we were sharing." So MJ was really cool. I love her. I love Zendaya. She does a really cool job as MJ. She's awesome. And so that was all really cool. big fight was really cool, because usually I kind of get bored with the Marvel movies with the fight scenes, but this, because of all the illusion tech and the visual stuff, it was amazing. I loved it. And so the and then we see Mysterio's tech guy, and he's downloaded something. So after that, all the kids, they go on the plane back home, and then all the parents are waiting for him at the airport, except for the kid who makes the YouTube videos. He's just got a shave, and he says, "Did my mother not come?" It's like, I felt sorry for him because he was neglected. And then after Ned and his girlfriend have decided to break up, and Ned says, "We're very grown up about it," to Peter, says, "I've become a man." And that was really cute or funny. Then May is hugs Peter, and then we see Peter at home, and he's interrogating Aunt May and Happy, and said, "So what's going on with you two?" And then Happy says, "Oh," and Happy thinks they're in a relationship, but Aunt May just thinks not sure. So they start talking about that, and then Peter says, "Yeah, I'll leave you to it." And he goes off for a date with MJ, and he turns up as Spider-Man, and he picks her up, and he swings her through New York, and she screams a lot because he's like, "Whoa, ah!" So it's a bit of a swinging first date in New York. But then shit goes down again, and it's Jonah Jameson of the Daily Bugle, the webcast kind of thing, and his report comes on the screen in Times Square, and it says and it's all about, it says, "The hero Mysterio did this," and then Mysterio starts saying that Peter has gone that Spider-Man's really bad, and he's using the recording of Peter saying "execute them all," and he's twisted it to make it seem like Spider-Man is telling him to execute all the people. And so he's lying, and Spider-Man's right there on the lamppost with MJ. He's like, "What?" And then Mysterio says, "And Spider-Man is Peter Parker," and it shows Peter Parker just in his normal clothes, and it's like, "Oh shit's gone down." And it was amazing. So, and then we get the end credits, which look cool. It's like origami, and like Peter like drawing cartoons and cutting things out and collaging and stuff. I loved it. I love when movies do actual work on the end credits. And then that was the mid-credits scene, the one where Mysterio reveals Spider-Man's identity, and then we got the rest of the credits, and then the last scene, the cliffhanger scene at the end of the credits, says we see Maria Hill and Nick Fury in a car, and then Maria Hill turns back into a Skrull, and it's Talos's, I think it's Talos's wife, and then Nick Fury turns into Talos, and we find out that it wasn't Nick Fury and Maria at all in the movie, it was Talos and his wife. And that the clue was, that's why he says don't invoke her name about Captain Marvel, because obviously Captain Marvel is like a really good friend of them, of the Skrulls now, because she rescued them. So and then you find out that Nick Fury's on vacation on the Skrull ship. At first we see him on a beach, and he's having a sunbathe, he's on the beach. But then we find out that's an illusion beach on the Skrull ship. And Nick Fury's like, and Talos is ringing in saying, giving him a mission update. And he's like, "Yeah, we did this, we did that, but yeah, it's mostly okay." And he's like sort of trying to and tells his wife saying, hello, and so Nick Fury's on holiday in the school ship on vacation, and then his trousers are rolled up, says, and he's got his casual Hawaiian shirt and says, anybody see my shoes? So now I don't, as we was leaving the screen, a kid said, I think Nick Fury's been a squirrel all along, but I'm not sure, because Nick Fury on his vacation, he did look the appropriate age what he would be, so I think it's the vacation after everything with Thanos happened, actually. So he's gone on vacation, and Talos and his wife are just taking over duties. So I was a bit confused at that, whether the yeah, I guess they were. I guess they were not in league with Mysterio. I guess Quentin Beck fooled them too. But this movie was incredible. The visuals incredible, and it's basically just how important everybody has been at creating a Marvel movie. Now, one of my favourite bits was when we see Quentin Beck, and we see his setup of where he films all his illusions. He actually is wearing, we see him wearing a mocap suit, a motion capture suit, and it's what he's wearing a motion capture suit within the movie, and as a motion capture suit. And my mind was totally blown by that. I loved that bit. I just loved it. I know it's, for some Marvel fans, that's just nothing. But I was like, it's the suit, it's the motion capture suit inside the movie. And I was like, freaking out about it. And it even had the modesty cloth. The Mark Ruffalo invented modesty cloth, and I loved that. It had the technology of movie making within the movie as part of the plot. It was so cool. I love that so much. So I would put this in my top Marvel, top MCU films. Along with Thor Ragnarok, it's right up the top. I'd say this is my second favourite of the Spider-Man films. My favourite is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home is number 2. What was I going? And then I guess it would be Homecoming, and then I guess the other Spider-Man movies would be a refresher, because I can't quite remember them as well, so they might need a rewatch too. But it was amazing. Sony have really they're really doing well with Spider-Man now, especially if they keep doing the comic book visuals and doing the visuals like they did in Spider-Verse with the live action. They're really onto a winner, and especially as long as Tom Holland keeps starring in them, they're onto a winner. Now, the midway point of the movie, when we find out Mysterio's true identity and true motives, I was totally emotionally gutted. As I was really gutted for Peter, because they've been bonding so well up to that. So that, and I didn't read any spoilers before, but I was like, It's like, oh no, it was like, oh. It's like that in that clip from The Simpsons. She said, and you can see his heartbreak right here. It's like, and it's like, oh, got it. And then we do see Quentin Beck die, and Peter does ask the glasses, is this real? But Quentin Beck programmed Edith, so he may invented the illusion tech, so Edith could just be lying. So we don't know if he is or isn't gone, but I kind of hope that they can redeem his character, because it's brilliant to have Jake in the Marvelverse. But I hope because I know he could come back as they're like in holographs. That was kind of gutted that it wouldn't be the actual person, but the actual person was a bad guy, but you could see what his motive was and why, but he wasn't actually doing a better job than Tony at thanking and being kind to the people who help him. So I don't know, it's a head thinker, but totally worth seeing. I'm so glad I went to see it on release day and in 3D. I loved it. I was exhausted when I got home. It was like, oh, it was emotionally exhausting. What a ride, what a movie. It's definitely up there as one of my favourite MCUs. So I'd love to hear what you think about this movie in the comments section. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!